All right, good afternoon. I'm Amanda Pizarek, and this is my final training video for Alice's Table. So thank you everyone for coming to our event today. We're really excited to have you here. Before we get started, I'll give you a quick introduction about myself and about Alice's Table, the company. So I'm Amanda. I joined Alice's Table just a couple weeks ago after attending a class like this myself. And it kind of was the perfect mix for me of I always have wanted to have a floral arranging business and it just hasn't worked out. And I thought this was the perfect opportunity to kind of have that and share that passion that I have with others. So here I am today to lead your class. So a little about Alice's Table. It started in Boston by our founder Alice, who started the company as just a way to bring women together and teach them skills and really create a community within women and friends and help make connections in a social setting. So she started Alice's Table to really teach people the skills of floral arranging, and it's grown from there. So we have quite a few folks in the Chicago area and across the country that are leading these events. So we're really happy to have you join us. We hope to see you back for something else, and we hope you enjoy your time today, more importantly. So the recipe, as we call it, we're going to be making today has a few supplies we'll need, and so they're all kind of laid out here on the table in front of you. So I'm going to go through those just so you know what you're working with and feel comfortable with the tools. If you have any questions, let me know. And then we'll start arranging our flowers. So obviously these are water cans. They are already filled up with some water and some plant food. So you do not need to add any plant food when you get home. It's already going to be in your arrangement today. These black buckets are just for your trash, so anytime you're clipping or leaves fall off, things like that, just go ahead and throw it in these, and I'll empty them throughout our class so that the table stays nice and clean and organized. You also all do have an apron, so if you haven't already put it on, go ahead and unroll that and put that on. And then inside your apron rolled up, the first tool that you'll be using a lot today, these are just your shears for your flowers, so we'll be using these to cut our flowers all day. And then we do have some roses in this arrangement. So this is actually what we call a rose stripper. So when we get to that part, I will demonstrate how to strip those thorns and leaves off of the roses so that you don't accidentally prick yourselves with those. Also, we have some Oasis tape in front of you. So this tape is going to be used to just make a grid on the top of our vases to help our flowers stay in place. So we use this instead of one of those foam floral blocks to keep our flowers in place. You also all have a piece of this florist ribbon or floral ribbon in front of you. This is going to just go in your vase to go around the outside, kind of like this, so that when you put all those flowers in there, you don't see those yucky stems. You actually just see this pretty ribbon there. And this is actually waterproof, so when you pour the water in there, you don't have to worry about it. It'll stand up to the water and make your arrangement look beautiful. And then the flowers we're going to be using today. So like I said, we're making the Surfside recipe today. So in that is this ruscus that you see on the table, and this is what we're going to use for our greenery. We have some beautiful Gerber daisies, we have roses, a couple different kinds of roses, and then we have what we call solidago, which is actually goldenrod, that we're going to add in there just for some unique flair as well. So I think we're ready to get started. So everybody go ahead and grab your vase. And we're going to start by just making a tic-tac pattern with 4 pieces of Oasis tape on the top. So what you want to do, don't worry if it hangs over the sides because it is clear, it's not going to show, especially once you get those flowers in there. So pop that floral ribbon just right in your vase so that you don't have to take the tape off after you get it in there. And then just grab yourself 4 pieces of tape and stretch them across the top of your vase to make that tic-tac-toe pattern. So just 2 pieces going one way, and then cross it with 2 pieces going the other way. So I guess even more so than a tic-tac-toe, maybe make a hashtag. That's a little bit more recognizable these days, I think. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that on my vase as well. All right, so this doesn't have to be perfect. Like I said, it can hang over the sides a little bit, but you have that tic-tac-toe, and that's just what we're gonna use to put our flowers in so they all stay held in there. All right, so the next thing we need to do is we need to get some water in here so that when we put the flowers in there, they're going right into the water and the plant food so they stay all happy while we're making our arrangement. So since you are taking these home and most of you will be driving, just go ahead and put about half up the way of your vase with water because we don't want it to spill when you get in the car. I'm gonna go ahead and fill mine up. so that I don't have to remember later. But definitely just fill it halfway up, and then make yourself a mental note to fill it the rest of the way up when you get home so that you remember. All right, so now that we have that water in there, so the first step when you're making a flower arrangement at home or today is what we call greening the base. And so you're gonna think of this as you're putting greenery into your arrangement, because we will be taking all the leaves off the flowers. So this is gonna be the biggest green component of your arrangement. Today this is ruscus. And so ruscus is really nice and waxy, so you don't really have to worry about it as much touching the water, but just take a couple of these stems, and this is going to be our first snipping. So every time you trim your flowers, always try to trim at a 45-degree angle. So go ahead and give those a little bit of a snip and just get them in there. There is no perfect way to do this. Everybody's is going to look different and unique, and just make an arrangement that you think is really beautiful. That's the great thing about this. Even though we're all using the same flowers, they're all going to look different. So take a few of those pieces of ruscus and just get them in there to kind of set the stage for the green portion of your arrangement here. And they don't have to be perfect. You can always change them later once you start getting some flowers in there. But the important thing is you're just really giving yourself a foundation here to work off of. So kind of think of it like that. This is kind of the building blocks to your whole arrangement here. Just gonna grab myself another little piece. All right, so once that's in there pretty good, you're happy with it, just make sure that you kind of have enough in there that the flowers are going to sit on top of that ruscus, because that's really especially important for our daisies when we get to those, since they are just a little bit more fragile. All right, so the next thing in this arrangement, everyone is going to get 3 roses. So go ahead and get up. Roses are in this first bucket here. So just go ahead and choose your 3 flowers, and then come back to your space and start kind of playing with where you want those in your arrangement. So as you're doing that, I will give you some care instructions for your roses, as well as show you how to use our rose stripper here. So thinking about roses, if you're at the store and you're arranging your flowers yourself at home, there's a couple things you want to look for. These roses are pretty nice and closed, so go ahead and when you're feeling for roses or checking for roses, you want to feel the base and make sure they're firm. That means you're getting a really good rose. And it's okay to kind of pull these loose little petals off the edge here, so it's a little bit cleaner looking. And then when you get home, actually what you want to do, if you want your roses to open, you want to put them in just a little bit of warm water. And I forgot to mention that this water we put in our vases here is actually room temperature. And that's the best for all of your floral arrangements. You don't ever want to put cold water in there. So room temperature, but if you want to make those roses really pop and open big, you want to put them in a little bit slightly warm water. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and strip this. So what you do, you take your rose stripper, just put it right around the base of the flower, and just gently pull down to remove those thorns and extra leaves there. I've got a really stubborn one here. All right, so I'm actually gonna move to this guy. All right, there you go. You can just strip it just like that. And when you're doing that, never ever hold it by the head of the flower. Make sure you hold it just a little bit below, because you don't actually want to accidentally want to remove that. So go ahead here and just clip your roses after you get them stripped. And you can also, if it's being really stubborn, just kind of give them a nice snip. We are cutting quite a bit of the stem off. Main thing is we don't want you to poke yourself with these roses. All right, so you're gonna go ahead and get these all in there. Just like that. And you can move them around later, remember. So stick them in there wherever you think you want them. Maybe make them a little bit shorter if you want. You can make them stick out the top. Again, remember, you're making something that you love, and that's the most important thing as you're looking around the room and arranging these right now. This is an arrangement that you love, and most importantly, that you've made. So okay, our roses are in there. So next we're going to move into our other really big statement flower that are beautiful. So we're going to put 3 Gerber daisies into this arrangement as well. And I bet you could probably guess because they're everywhere, but Gerber daisies are actually the 5th most popular flower in the US, so we're excited to have them in this arrangement today. But they're also very fragile, so when you get up and get your 3 daisies, notice they do still have the protectors under the head. We will very carefully remove those and make sure those flowers are supported when we put them in this arrangement. So go ahead, get up, get your 3 daisies, and come back to your seat and we'll start working on those. All right, so as you can see on these, they do still have the little plastic protectors on the stem. So go ahead and support the neck as you take those off, and you're just gonna trim your daisies very carefully. And again, stick them in your arrangement in a manner that you make sure that head is supported by the ruscus or the rose or whatever can really just help hold it up there. So go ahead and continue to place your daisies around. This is the last one here. All right, excellent. So got those daisies in there. So now we're going to move on to more of the accent flowers of this arrangement. So we have 2 accent flowers in this arrangement. We have spray roses, and then we have, not to say this right, solidago, which is goldenrod. So we're going to start with the spray roses. And the really nice thing about spray roses is that you don't really know if you're going to just get 1 or multiples per stem. So you couldn't get a lot of flowers just from a few stems. But the spray roses are also going to be the first flower that we encounter that has leaves on the lower part. So everybody's going to get 2 stems of spray roses. So go ahead and grab those. And so as you notice here, these do have leaves lower on the stem. So when you're working with flowers that have leaves further down on the stem that might come in contact with your water, it's really, really important that you remove those leaves because they can cause bacteria to come into the water and make your bouquet, go droopy or get kind of nasty and go bad faster. So it's really critical that you remove those leaves. So I'm just gonna make sure I have all those leaves off of here. And that's true across any flower. We stripped the roses and we didn't have any leaves on the daisies, but always keep that in mind. You don't want any leaves in your actual finished arrangement. All right, so again, I'm cutting at a 45-degree angle here, and this stem I grabbed has quite a few little spray roses on it. So I'm just gonna distribute them around my bouquet here. And I actually am going to separate quite a few of these so that we can fill in some space here. And you might want to do that, or you might want to leave all of yours together. Again, whatever is coming together as beautiful for you. Especially thinking of where you're going to put this. You might be setting it against a wall, so you only need the front to be really full and beautiful, so you want to focus most of your flowers there. You might be using it as a centerpiece, so it needs to kind of be 360 beautiful. Just keep that in mind as you're arranging and play with your flowers there and just kind of make sure that this is going to fit in with wherever you're going to end up putting it. All right, there. So this is looking really beautiful here. So we just have 1 piece left, and that's the solidago. So again, this is more commonly known as goldenrod. This is just our kind of unique flower. We always try to have a unique flower just to give it some jazz and some pizzazz and some interest to the arrangement. So go ahead and grab yourself 3 stems of that solidago, which is this last bucket that we have here. Excellent. So again, there are no leaves towards the bottom of this, but if there were, we would just make sure they were kind of cleaned off. And then we're just gonna go ahead and pop this in here wherever you need some excitement, wherever you need some maybe height. If you're missing some height, you could use it for height. You can also just use it to kind of fill in, make your bouquet or your arrangement just a little bit more full. So whatever you want to do, and then once you have it in there, if you just want to play with where your flowers are and make sure that everything is, especially those daisies are supported there and kind of everything is distributed like you want it. And then you can always, if you need to kind of jostle that oasis tape down there at the bottom to make sure everything is good and secured. And there you go. So now you've really put this arrangement together, and obviously looking around the room, everybody's looks different, which is so exciting. So as you're kind of doing some finishing touches there, I'll just tell you a little bit more about ways that you can continue to engage with Alice's Table and kind of what we offer. So we do offer public parties like this at awesome venues around the city that you're always able to follow on our website or Eventbrite and find. But we also offer private parties. So if you have a bridal shower coming up or a baby shower or just a girls' night that you have a lot of people and you want to do something fun together, we offer that as well. So we can always work with you to set that up, whether it's something you're funding or you're selling tickets to your friends. We can get that all set up with you just through our website. So would love to tell you more about that. Would love to hear your thoughts on the class. Also, if you could share with us how you found the event today, that would be really helpful just to make sure that everyone out there that wants to learn how to do floral arranging is seeing the events and getting the opportunity to come. So as we're cleaning up and taking some pictures, I'll be happy to take pictures for you. We can also get a group photo. If you just want to let us know how you found us, and I can answer any questions you have as well. But thank you so much for coming. I hope you had fun. I hope you feel confident going to Trader Joe's or Whole Foods and grabbing some flowers and trying your hand at arranging when you get home. All right, thanks.